Well, hello everyone. Today is an apology and penance video. You see, last week I went and I reviewed two whiskeys from prominent distilleries on Islay. And I liked them quite a lot, actually. And in the process, I, shoveled even more hype onto these things than they already have. And that's just not what we're supposed to be doing on this channel, is it? No. This channel is for the underdogs, for the underhyped offerings out there. So today, I am making up for that sin by going back to the space side. And more specifically, we're going back to Glen Elgin. Glen Elgin, I'm going to do it like this. Glen Elgin has been a absolute favorite here on the channel. It is a total giant killer. We put the basic classic, the one that's like under $20 up against a bunch of blends that were far more expensive, and it won. The sherry finish, which is might be the best value in malt under $30 or so. The 18-year-old is phenomenal and embarrasses a lot of far more expensive 18-year-olds. The 12-year-old travel edition thing is pretty darn good. The one in the liter, not in the standard. And so today we're going to see if it can continue on in that giant killing tradition by going up against four far more prominent Speyside distilleries. And also Linkwood. I joke. But I do actually think Linkwood is probably sees more hype among the enthusiast community than Glen Moray does. We've got a Linkwood, a Tamdhu, a Macallan, and a Glenlivet to go head-to-head up with a whole bunch of independent bottlings of Glen Moray that I got from Passion for Whiskey last year. All right, so let's line these things up. 4 flights, 4 head-to-head rounds, and it is Glen Moray versus the world. So, first matchup, we have a Cadenhead Glen Moray-Glenlivet, because Cadenhead is one of the few, one of those bottlers that still does the whole, slapping Glenlivet onto the front of random distillery names. We've got this is a 16-year-old from Bourbon Casks, 46%, and another 46%er from Tamdhu. This is an 8-year-old, so it's much younger, but it is full sherry butt maturation. This is from Hart Brothers, and similar presentation. I don't think this is marked as unchill-filtered. Oh well. All right, so that is the matchup. Slightly older Bourbon Cask, Glen Moray versus slightly younger Oloroso butt Tamdhu. Classic Bourbon Cask versus Sherry Cask matchup. Starting with the Glen Moray, as we will do throughout this. On the nose. Oh my goodness. Speyside wonderfulness. It's quite spirity, but in a good way. We've got all the fruit. We have got pear, we've got apple, we got a little bit of quince in there, like a baked quince thing. Apricot, nectarine, lots of fruit. Certainly some honey, like spring honey, maybe a little bit of summer honey in there. Oh man. Vanilla, a certain kind of graininess, like a pie crust thing. So maybe some of those fruits are in pie form. Also, certainly some a cream of wheat element in this too. A little bit of lemon, different kinds of lemon. There's a little bit of a lemon bar thing, but also just a straight up lemon zest with some pith on it. There's a little bit of a bitterness here. I love this style because we're starting to bring in, lemon bitterness, citrus bitter, There's also a little bit of a tea leaf thing in this. Yeah, like black tea leaves with a little bit of oolong maybe mixed in there. A little bit of like a bitter orange, like a curacao orange kind of thing. Slightly herbaceous, but I think it's well, I don't know. Maybe that's the tea leaves. Maybe like a little hint of like a Virginia tobaccos kind of thing. I mean, just a fresh, beautiful Speyside nose. It's really like, it's very, very fruity. So you've got that character to it, but you're also bringing in a lot of what I sometimes call the third side of Speyside. You're bringing in the bitters, the tea leaves, the citrus, the tobaccos. That's in there too, but it's balanced. It's really balanced on the nose. On the palate, certainly not one of the greats, but dang is this good. Very similar on the palate, maybe a hair bit narrower. We're definitely more in like pie pastry territory here. We're having, apple pie, pear cobbler, some croissants with maybe some peach and some apricot in there. But there's like more of a grainy element in this. Overnight oatmeal, muesli maybe. The tea leaves element is more prominent. It's more herbaceous. Not herbaceous. Tea leafy and tobacco-y on the palate. You're still getting vanilla, honey, leaning towards spring honey, again with a little bit of summer honey. It's got balance. Like this has got it. You know that person in your life who's got it all figured out? Like they somehow managed to make work-life balance a thing. That's kind of where this is. It's not the most amazing whiskey in the world. I'm going to give it a pretty good score, unless it crashes with water. But it's doing lots of things and it's keeping them so buttoned up together so nicely. I like this distillery a lot. On the back end, a little bit of tea tannins, a little bit of white pepper, but very very crushable, but at the same time, it has the detail. It has the poise. I'm going to give us some water. Come back to it, see what the Tamdhu's got. Tamdhu was a very prominent distillery at one point, kind of fell off the map, and now under new ownership, it's trying to come back. But yeah, a real favorite of mine. This is fully sherry matured from a distillery known for being really good with sherry maturation. Tamdhu is grungy stuff, and I have high hopes for this. Let's see what we got. It's not too expensive either. Oof. On the nose, very, very chocolatey. No, not chocolate. What is that? Ovaltine. This smells like Ovaltine. And I love it. Ovaltine, so like, that weird kind of twist on chocolatiness, but it's not exactly chocolate. Almost some like carob in here. Interesting. Yeah, kind of nutty carob, maybe some like a macadamia thing. But then you do have tea leaves, but different tea leaves. Like we're leaning into a darker direction with this. Maybe some malty Assam tea leaves. There's a little bit. What is that? Something savory in here. Like, there's Oof, sorry. There's a touch of vanilla on this as well. I carbo-loaded before I did this, and I'm still going to be completely, S-faced by the end of it. But I'm a little burpy. What is that? I want to say beef bouillon, but it's not exact. It's like 3/4 beef bouillon with a little bit of vegetable bouillon kind of thrown in for fun. So, yeah. Okay, let's go with that. Black pepper, certainly. I'm looking for fruit, and there's not a lot of fruit on this. You might find like half a prune, but this is really not about fruit. This is about the chocolate and the kind of savory character. Okay. A little bit of a sugary thing, like a jaggery, like real brown sugar kind of thing on the palate. Pretty good. Similar mix of flavors. This is, to me, friendlier than some of the official bottling Tamdhus that I've had. I'm not sure if it necessarily benefits from that. You got the chocolate thing, milk, Ovaltine, but also like some milk chocolate on this now. Dark tea, malty tea, awesome tea. Oatmeal in this too, black pepper, half a fig, half a prune. That kind of like half, you took some better than bouillon, did like half a teaspoon of the beef, half a teaspoon of your vegetable. There's a little bit of that in there. Kind of creamy and oily in the mouth. That's nice. Also peppery. I don't think it has the detail to stand up to this Glen Moray. But to be fair, this is cheaper. So, there is that. I try to make these all fair matchups, but sometimes they aren't. I mean, it's a very, very nice sherry whiskey. If you can get this for a good price, I mean, do it. Like, this is nice. I do think I like the official, I do have to try the official Tamdhus again, as I tried them at a festival and I hadn't had them since. My sense is I like those a little bit more, but this is nice. This is very nice. Okay, let's go through these again. Back to the Glen Moray-Glenlivet 16. This is really a fun comparison. Like it's really a bourbon sherry comparison. I know that's obvious, but it's fun to do this. Oh God, it's just so fruity and vibrant. But then there's this little grungy details that make it fun. Not a whole lot of change from where it was. Maybe the honey's a little bit more prominent, a little bit more summer honey in there, like wildflower honey. Orange blossom honey. But we're basically where we were before. Not a whole lot of change. On the palate. It's real good. It's really good. Again, not a whole lot of change with water. Maybe a little bit more of a black pepper kind of character on the finish. A little bit more tannin, but it still doesn't throw it off balance. This is just so poised and very sessionable, but it's got the complexity. Hold. The honey and the fruit are in the mix just as much as the pepper and the tannins. There's some florals coming out as well. They were there, but not super duper prominent. They were more in the honey character than kind of on their own, but now you're getting like actual full blown independent florals. This is an 87. 87 point score for the first Glen Moray of this video. You'll notice I brought out the mug today. This is going to be a long one. All right, back to the Tamdhu. Okay. Water brings out a little bit of like a grapeseed oil kind of character to this on the nose, but nice. Still very dominated by Ovaltine with your kind of mixed bullion bringing up the behind. And I like it. On the palate. I mean, again, firms up on the finish a little bit more pepperiness, which is nice. Actually, I think it gets better with what the Glen Moray kind of stayed steady with water. This actually improves a little bit more. It's not going to catch up, but it's a little bit better. Little grippier, a little more tonsil tickling happening. I think this is nice. I'm not blown away by any means, but it's a very, very nice sherry whiskey. I will give this one more time. Can't find an 85. I'll just give this an 85. We'll call it an 85. Because it's pretty good. 85 points. Very much like a just reach for it anytime if you need a sherry whiskey kind of grab. But it's not it's not beating the Glen Moray. So that is the first round. Glen Moray is the winner. All right, let us move on. Second round. Get a new set of glasses here. What do we got here? Ah, yes. We have got a 17-year-old this time. This is a 2007 17-year-old Glen Moray from Saltire Rare Malt, which is a bottler I've never tried before. But I am very curious. So let's get this in a glass. Once again, it's not specified that this is bourbon. It is second fill American oak, though. So American white oak. And try to center this a little bit more. There we go. That's nice and symmetrical, kind of. And that is up against the Linkwood. I have a bunch of Linkwoods to review, which I'm not bad about because I really like Linkwood. This is a 13-year-old bottled by Single Malts of Scotland. So, vintage 2008. So this was bottled a couple of years ago. Also Bourbon Casks. Yeah, 3 Bourbon Casks. So bourbon versus bourbon this time. It's a fair fight. And, except the Glen Moray is older. And similar proofs. The Glen Moray is 48.8. This is just 48. So let's see what we got here. Starting again with the Glen Moray. Quieter on the nose, a little bit more spirity. Yeah, so we are really on like almost a apple pear OGV kind of character to this. No, there's a graininess as well. There's a graininess behind this somewhere, like almost OGV of oatmeal, maybe. I'm riffing. The wood influence on this is very subtle. It's a little bit in there. It's just a little bit of like a vanilla creme brulee way in the back, but you have to kind of fight to see it. Very spirity. There's some apricot on this as well. White pepper. Russian caravan tea. Some like, toasted orange peel, something like that. Oriental tobaccos. Okay. I mean, this really on the nose strikes me as like Speyside in half-dead cask, or not very active cask at least. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I'm really enjoying the kind of slight burned character of this. There's a little bit of that kind of toasted orange peel, but also maybe a little touch of like a lapsang in there in the Russian caravan. Okay. I did prefer the previous Glen Moray, at least on the nose, but on the palate. Oh, but the palate is kicking. Oh, this is delicious. Oh, that's fabulous. Oh, that is beautiful. So, again, it's more spirity. Don't get me wrong; it's more spirity than the Cadenheads. You're not getting really any overt big kind of sawdust and vanilla notes on this. There's a little hint of creme brulee, but it's you have to go looking for it again. What this does is on the front, you get, again, kind of an apple pear eau de vie kind of character. And then it just turns into like a peppery, spicy honey kind of thing. Peppery, spicy honey with some, kind of various tea leaves mixed in. Oolong is in there. A little bit of lapsang in there. Orange peel. But also like some Lipton's or some Southern sweet tea in there. It's really interesting. Oriental tobaccos again. Do I like it more than the Cadenheads? I'm not sure. I may have to do a comparo, but this one is also very good. It's much more reserved on the nose. This is much more of a palate whiskey, which is, and this is just like why Glen Moray is fun, right? I mean, you can see the family resemblances, but this and this are very different despite what appears to be a very similar, very similar stats. All right, but let's see what the Linkwood's got. Linkwood 2008, 13-year-old. Bourbon cask, 48%. Also pretty quiet on the nose. Linkwood, at its best, can be so decadent and desserty, and this is much more subtle. It's floral. It's more floral than the Glen Moray. It's like pound cake with some flowers sprinkled all over it. That's kind of what this smells like. Maybe a drizzle of clover honey on there. Some white pepper, cinnamon. But yeah, very cakey. It's like a little bit like Strath Isla or Milton Duff sometimes. Cake is kind of the, and specifically like pound cake or that kind of cake is the note. Nice. Again, pretty withdrawn. Oh, no, wait. There's some orange peel in there. Or bergamot peel. More bergamot peel than toasted burned orange peel as we got with the Glen Moray. On the palate. So I was just matching these things up by stats, but I actually came up with a really good matchup here. Both of these, on the nose, not very loud, not kind of in your face at all, but on the palate, they absolutely deliver. This is very good. Take a big old thing of pound cake, mix up some cream of wheat on the side, add some clover honey, some molasses. No, cane syrup, not molasses. Mix all that up with some cinnamon. So make some really delicious cream of wheat. Dump all that on top of your pound cake, along with a boatload of flower petals. And that's kind of what this tastes like. And like some overstewed tea. A little bit of, like a shot glass full of like intensely overstewed tea that'll put hair on your chest. That's in here too. I don't think this has the Glen Moray may have a hair bit more length to it. This is kind of it's getting to my tonsils, but it's not getting too far. It's most of what's happening is kind of in the front of my mouth. So that may be what decides this. I'm really hoping the Glen Moray can win like 3 out of 4 of these. This is a tough one, though. This is pretty close. So we'll give this a squirt of water. I had to give water to the Glen Moray, didn't I? Oh yeah, this is going to be a good one. This is coming down to the wire. I like both of these very much. Okay, and look at the color. My God, I don't know if you can see like the color. The lighting in my room is terrible, but these are so light in color. It's the kind of thing that like a lot of people would just walk right on by these bottles and just assume that they're crap because the color is very light. But my God, these are good. All right, back to the Glen Moray. Nose is coming out a little bit more now. We're certainly leaning more in an orangey direction. Like you got the kind of apple pear eau de vie thing going on, but you've also got a real like orange peel, orange zest kind of note happening with some burned notes in there as well. I like it. The nose is stepped up with water, and I like that on the palate. This is why I love the Space Side. You have this wonderful fruit and honey parade, and then someone drops like a bitter orange full of, covered in tea leaves right into the middle of it, and everyone loves it. It's fantastic. That's kind of what this is doing. Is it beating the Cadenhead though? I'm just drinking these, y'all. No, I think the Cadenhead is a little bit better. Not by much. One more time with this. Well, no, I'll try the Linkwood. No, I'm gonna try this again. Where are we in this? I can't find an 87. I will call this like an 80. Is this an 86 or an 86 plus? You know, I like the nose enough better, sufficiently better with water. I will call this an 86 plus. 86 plus out of 100 for this. Who are these people again? Saltire Rare Malt, Glen Moray. And Linkwood. No, Linkwood is still quiet. I don't know, still very cakey. Yeah, there's a delicate decadence to this stuff that is really nice. It doesn't have the intense smoky orange peel thing on it, though. Okay, on the palate. Very good. Really good. Gets more peppery. It becomes a little bit more of a peppery bomb, but good pepper bomb with the addition of water. Cake, pepper, honey. It's not that fruity, actually. It's more cakey than fruity. Very, very, very cakey, though, but in a good way. A little bit of sweet tea. And like a little bit of a bourbon thing. What is that? Like a little shot of Jim Beam put in the bottle. But nice. Certainly very good, but again, it's not catching the Glen Moray. So I'm going to call this an 85 plus. 85 plus for this Linkwood. So that is another victory for Glen Moray, but a narrower victory. We'll see if it can keep it up in the next matchups, which get a little bit harder. Next set of glasses. There we go, kind of semi-centered. And here we go. Glen Moray, 12-year-old from the Whisky Mercenary. This is their Crowdfunder Exclusive series. And I know nothing else about this except that it's 51% alcohol. I just saw it on Passion for Whiskey. I wanted to buy a bunch of Glen Moray samples, and so I grabbed this, and we're going to find out what it's all about. It was not expensive. And then that is going up against, oh my goodness, it's a Macallan. It doesn't say Macallan on it because it's a signatory, and they would probably get in legal trouble, but it is marked as a space side parentheses M, which is signatory's way of telling you it's Macallan, and it is, what is it? It's from their small batch edition. It's number 11 in that series, and this is aged in Oloroso sherry, so it is a 12-year-old. So, dual 12-year-olds. One, we know everything except the distillery. The other, we know basically only the distillery, so this is exciting. Starting again with the Glen Moray. And what are the strengths on these? 51% versus, I think, 48.2. 48.2. On the nose, Glen Moray. Much more citric. Much more citrus-driven. Yeah, lemon. Lots of lemon. Lemon juice, but really lemon peel as well. It's almost like lemon oatmeal, if that makes sense. That's kind of what it smells like. There's some orange peel in this as well. Is there, like little flicks of apple pear in this as well. Little, fleck of honey, yes. But overall, on the nose, this is much more austere than the previous two Glen Morays. There's an ashiness to this, though, which I like. A little bit of a... There's a tea leaf thing to this as well, but it's... oh, what is that? Almost like a Ceylon tea kind of thing. Ceylon tea leaves. Let's go with that. On the palate... I would guess this is Bourbon Casks, or American Oak at least. Because there's a fair bit of vanilla on the palate. Interesting. It doesn't really follow the nose. The nose is very, very austere. You have to kind of fight to pull sweety, fruity stuff out of it. The palate, however, is very much like vanilla and honey vanilla. And that's most of what I'm getting. The palate is very much like Speyside. It's very, like kind of the stereotypical vision of it, what a non-sherried Speyside tastes like. I'm looking for more. No, there's some herbs in there. You got the tea leaves. You got a little bit of tobacco on this, but it's very underplayed. It's very subtle. Most of this is, honey and vanilla, and more vanilla and more honey. Mouth presence is not super duper impressive. I don't know if I'm into this one. It perfectly nice up front, but then there's really nothing going on in the back of my mouth. It's okay, I guess. I don't know if the Glen Moray is going to win this one, guys. But let's see what the Macallan has got. Sherried, independent bottled Macallan that's actually presented halfway well. Let's see what we got here. Uh-oh. Okay, so you are getting your fig and your prune and a little bit of beef bouillon, but you are also getting like a big old box of matches. There is some sulfur going on in here. It's not too bad. It's there. So, yeah. You're smelling a box full of matches, and then maybe the next room over, someone is eating an egg salad sandwich. And I'm struggling to get more. Sherriness. There's some chocolate orange in here, maybe. Yeah, it's... So I am not as sensitive to sulfur as many people are. I will say, if you're sensitive to sulfur, do not buy this. Right off the bat, this is going to set off every alarm you have. For me, it's just starting to get over that line of that's a little bit too much. I'm enjoying aspects of this. So there is that kind of Turkish coffee, Turkavezi thing that Macallan does so well. Black pepper. Okay. Kind of a difficult nose. Some things I like, but not balanced by any means. On the palate, Okay. I will say, of the flight so far that we've had in this video, this is probably my least favorite. I will say that on the palate, this is better. It is not showing the overt sulfuriness, sulfured cask kind of character that it was on the nose. It's not super special on the palate, though. I don't think it's any more special than the Glen Moray, put it that way. You know, beef bouillon, Turkish coffee, fig prune, a little bit of like a barley cereal kind of thing. And then what? I'm gonna go Ovaltine again. I know I already used that note on the Tamdhu. I'm gonna use it again. There's a little bit of an Ovaltine thing on this as well. I considered saving this for doing yet another Don't Buy Macallan video, which is something I do during the holidays sometimes. And I'm glad I didn't, because I don't think this is worth complaining about. This is fine, but it's very basic. And there is some sulfur present. Even on the palate, there's a little bit of like a you just chewed on a match or something. But it didn't light on fire. It just didn't taste very good. Yeah. Rough. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to add water to these, aren't I? That's important. Okay. I'm gonna add like a couple squirt, half a squirt more. Okay, let's do a second round. All right, hopefully this Glen Moray will react quickly to my water since I forgot to add it earlier. Yeah, it's really an austere nose. It's very like bitter orange, like mean, unfriendly oatmeal stuff. A little bit of fruit, a little bit of flowers kind of hiding in there, honey. But overall, not the friendliest nose in the world. On the palate, better. Definitely better with water. Oh yeah, those herbal notes that I was kind of detecting in the background play up and start to intertwine themselves with the fruity honey notes that were kind of overwhelming this before, and the vanillas. Yeah, so now you have got dancing with your vanilla and honey and a little bit of kind of appley peary stuff. You have got some orange peel, bergamot peel, tea leaves, parsley, thyme. Yeah, some tobacco. Like mixed loose leaf pipe tobacco. It's nondescript tobacco, but it's there. My least favorite still of the Glen Moray so far, but I'll still give this like an 84 plus. 84 plus points. Definitely steps up with some water, so that's nice. Let's move back to the Macallan. See if the nose is any better or worse. It's about the same. you're trying to nose a nice sherried whiskey, and someone right next to you is eating an egg salad and matchbook sandwich. And that's what this smells like. I mean, yeah, this is... I mean, it's flawed. It's like when you pop a wine and you can tell there's a little bit of cork taint in it, a little bit of like a rotten cardboard kind of thing coming out, but it's not completely ruining the experience. That's what we got here. Very sulfury, but it's still mostly there. Mostly, but it's not really... There's issues. On the palate, I feel bad because the Glen Moray shouldn't be winning this one. This is not a very good Glen Moray overall. But this is just not Macallan at its best by any means. I mean, it's still probably better than some of the official bottlings I've had, but... Yeah, you've got the matchbook thing. And with water especially, like, it just feels... It doesn't get worse with water. I mean, it just you add water and you expect it to become a little bit louder, a little bit more aggressive on you, and this just doesn't. It's so basic of a Macallan. It is a little bit of dried fruit, a little bit of savory stuff, a little bit of Ovaltine, Turkish coffee. Fairly quick finish. I mean, not super quick, but fairly quick for something at this level. And you got the matchbookiness in there. I mean, it's not completely ruining things, but... yeah, I don't know what to say. Glen Moray wins by default. This is not what I wanted. I wanted this to have tough competition that it could clearly, like, just, maybe just pull out a W with. But no, this space side parentheses M is just not super good. I'm going to give it 82 points. Not recommended, especially if you have a sensitivity to sulfur. If that's you, do not buy this bottle. And, I mean, maybe if you totally don't care about sulfur, if you like sulfur, this can be a buy. But if you're kind of where I am, like in the middle, where, sometimes it's okay, and it can actually do like some good things or add a little bit of character, but sometimes it can get out of balance. If that's kind of where you are, even then, I don't think this is worth a buy, in my humble opinion. So yeah, it's we've already got the 3 out of 4 for Glen Moray, and I hate it because this is not how I wanted it done. All right, last flight, and now we get serious. What have we got? We have got another 17-year-old? Yes, 17-year-old Glen Moray. This is a Barry Brothers and Rudd bottling, picked for friends of BBR, the Netherlands. And this is a Viognier finish. And we'll talk about that in a second. And it is up against, however, a 20-year-old Glenlivet, bottled by Connoisseur's Choice, so Gordon and MacPhail. This was a K&L pick. And yeah, this should be fun because these on paper look very, very interesting. You've got a Viognier finish Glen Moray versus basically like a a used bourbon cask Glenlivet that's actually well presented. So I'm very, very curious to see how this shakes out. I know, like, the Glen Morays have already won this head-to-head, but we shall see. All right, why is a Viognier finish interesting? Now, here at Different Spirits, we tend not to like a lot of wine finishes because a lot of wine finishes are red wines, and red wine finishes are not great. We can have a conversation about full maturation in red wine, about even like extended secondary maturation, but the finishes, maybe not so much. This Viognier is a white wine, so it sees no maceration on the skins. And Viognier in particular is really interesting because it is a very, very aromatic grape. It's like a Gewürztraminer or Moscato comes to mind, but it's a very different grape from Moscato too. Point is, it's very aromatic. You don't see a lot of like wood maturation with Viognier. So I'm not sure how this cask happened, but I am super duper pumped to try this. The color is a little bit scary. Not sure what happened there, but let's give it a shot. It's fun to do a head-to-head in this in this lineup and have the Glen Moray be the one with the dark color. Let's see what we got. Glen Moray 2007 Viognier finish. 56% alcohol by volume on the nose. Dense, but it's hard to get a read on it. I'm getting a lot of rich fruit. It's like an apple and pear fruit roll-up. So like dried apple and pear, but it's been like crushed down and put into a roll. A lot of black pepper on this. Oh, apple cheese. I haven't used that note in a long time, but there we are. Apple cheese. Pear cheese as well. I'm not sure that exists, but it should. Certainly some flowers in there. Okay, now I'm starting to get good old Glen Moray in there. There is some tea leaves, black tea leaves. A little bit of orange peel. I'm not really getting honey, but I am getting a distinct graininess. There's some oatmeal in this. No, there's some clover honey going on, a little bit. But this is the most cask dominant of the Glen Morays so far, by a lot. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm enjoying this nose. It's dense. It's not. It's tough to disentangle the notes, but there's. This is a pleasure to stick my nose into, on the palate. Ooh. That is fun. I like this a lot. Okay, so there is a big, rich, fruity arrival, like very Glen Moray kind of arrival on the front end of this. And then it gets very, very casky and get a lot of dried fruit woodiness. And then on the back, there is this like astringent peach thing that kind of creeps in like a couple of seconds into the finish, and it's really fun. And that has to be from the Viognier cask. And there we go. Oh, no. Oh. That kind of like floral almost grapey peach. Imagine a peach and a grape had a baby. That thing is there in the mid palate. It pops up, but then it's really only a couple of seconds into the back end, into the finish, that it kind of turns astringent on you, but in like this really refreshing way. I like this. Yeah, apple cheese, pear cheese, honey on the front end, black pepper. Oh. Tea leaves, orange peel. A lot of, I'm guessing this is French oak. I have to assume that it's French oak, because that's kind of the character of this. Lots of black pepper, some fig, touch of raisin, but really there's like a peachy thing, like a fresh peach that, you know, is nice. It's really nice. And then, like a couple seconds into the finish, it just like twists on you and becomes like really kind of astringent, but in a really refreshing way. I like this a lot. It's also very peppery. And floral. There's some flowers in this. We, as an industry and as Scotch nerds, are not drinking enough white wine casks. Like, I really think there's something to be had there. I think this would have been even better with more time in this cask, but even so, like, I'm enjoying the heck out of this. I will give this a squirt of water. A couple squirts, actually. It's 56%, right? 2, 3, 4. Let's see if it needs more. What? Oh my God, it sweetens up. I'll give it like a half a squirt more and then call it done. Okay. Ooh. I'm going to be honest, like, I want to come back and give my full evaluation of this, but initial impression, this is one of the best finished whiskeys I've had in a long time. I don't really seek them out, to be fair, but yeah, I like this a lot. And now I kind of feel bad for the Glenlivet. Is this going to be like 4 for 4 for Glen Moray? Because that's kind of what this is looking like, unless the Glenlivet really steps up. Whoa, okay. So again, 20-year-old Glenlivet from 2003, K&L pick, second fill ex-bourbon, 55.3%. And on nose, oh well, wait, hold on. It reminds me a little bit of the second flight. It's very spirity. It's very like apple pear eau de vie. But then there's like a smokiness going on. It's not peat. It's like a citrus smokiness. Like smoked lemon, like if you dried out some lemon and lime peels and kind of set them on fire, that's kind of the vibe here. Not a super detailed nose. A little touch of vanilla. Little touch of like cream of wheat, barley sugar, malted milk balls, hint of some kind of herb. What is that? Let's go oregano and dill. But compared to the Glen Moray, understated. This is very understated on the nose. I am enjoying that little smoky hint thing there. Let's see what we got. Connoisseur's choice. Glenlivet on the palate. I'll be honest here. I did not expect of the ones I was throwing up against Glen Moray here. I did not expect this Glenlivet, which has been sitting in my to review queue for like a couple of years now. This is not the one I expected to step up and give it a good fight. But this is very good. Another one that is not a nosing whiskey. It is a palate whiskey. Wow. Ooh. Continuing to develop like a couple of seconds into the finish. I like this. This is another one I like. It doesn't have much of an arrival. It's very spirity on the arrival. It's very like... apple pear spirit that's just been refined a little bit too much on the palate on the front end of this, with some white pepper. But then some lemon and orange peel kind of creeps in. The white pepper turns into black pepper. It becomes more earthy, and all of a sudden, like big old smoke plumes in your mouth. Even like complex fruity smoke is the best I can do to describe this. There's some overstewed tea in this as well. And here I thought K&L was just trying to make some money, selling a big name at 20 years old, and, know nothing to it, I was wrong. This is good. This is quite good, actually. It's not at all what I was expecting. And as you can tell, I'm kind of struggling to explain it. Fruity smoke on the back end of this is the best I can do. This is a finish whiskey. It is not about the arrival. It's not about the nose. It's not about the mid-palate. Everything that this has got to offer comes in on the finish. It's like a... Yeah, it's like Joe Frazier. Like, you don't have to worry too much about Joe Frazier in like the first round, maybe the second round, but in that third round, like you're going down. That's kind of what this is. Like, there's not a whole lot to it on the front, but man, once it's down your throat, it's going to start to play some things. Do I like this more than the Glen Moray? I don't know. I like both of these very much. Let's see. A couple of squirts. 2, 3, 4. 4 might do it on this. I'll give like 3 more drops. 1, 2, 3. And call it done. Yeah, wow. This might be... I'm trying to remember if I've had a Glenlivet better than this. I don't think I have. This might be the best Glenlivet I have ever tasted. Which is a thing. All right, let's go back to the Glen Moray, though. Glen Moray, 17-year-old Viognier finish. Now that kind of fresh... ripe peach thing I was getting on the palate is now there on the nose much more. Yeah, very prominent. You're still getting the kind of apple cheese, pear cheese thing. But yeah, the peach is undeniable. Almost an apricot too. These are both so weird and interesting, and it's just a reminder that malt whiskey even malt whiskey from the space side will absolutely step up and surprise you. As long as you may have spent with the category, it's still got some tricks to play. On the palate. No. As much as I'm enjoying this Glenlivet and how just fun the development on this is, I think this is better. This is also a finish-oriented whiskey, but it has a lot more going on the front of the palate. It's got all that delicious Glen Moray-ness, plus some, French oaky stuff, pepper, some, tea leaves beyond the tea leaves you normally get with Glen Moray. Some figgy pruniness, the apple cheese, pear cheese thing. Yeah, but then you got the peachy thing kind of, increasingly becoming prominent as this travels through your mouth. Hard to argue with this. I mean, this is just a very good malt. 88 points? Let's call this an 88. I don't think it really gains a whole lot with water, but it certainly doesn't lose anything either. Let's see where the Glenlivet goes. Did this get peaty on me? What the hell just happened? No. That's not peat. It has the fruity smoke thing I was getting on the finish of this has now started to hit the palate or the nose. It's like you started a fruit bonfire. I don't know how else to put it. Really interesting. I am legit impressed with this. I did not expect this to be enormous, competition for this Glen Moray, but out of nowhere with water, this pulls it like a good nose out of its butt. This is really fun. On the palate. Oh. So now, what water has done a lot with this. It has really kind of taken the power that I was experiencing a couple of seconds into the finish and pushed it forward on the palate. So now that is starting to hit on the front end of this. This is a whiskey that might have been actually better bottled at like 46% versus cask strength. Oh my goodness. Like fruit bonfire with the graininess and the honey and a little bit of the fruitiness that you expect from Speyside right up front. The best Glenlivet I've ever had. Period. Done. End of debate. Is this beating the Glen Moray? No, but it's the same score. I mean, this is more like an 87 plus 1. But yeah, it's an 88. 87 plus 1 equals 88. Great little sleeper here. I went into this video, planning to show everyone just how good Glen Moray could be and how to make a case for that. And now I'm like seriously impressed by how good this little independent bottling of Glenlivet is. But there you go. You have 3 wins for Glen Moray and 1 tie. 88 and 88. So yeah, that is the video. I am going to go lay down for a minute. Thanks for watching, and cheers.